Tonight's exchange highlights a rarely seen but critically important pillar of U.S. national security: commercial shipping. What begins as a discussion about a damaged tanker quickly opens a larger question. How prepared is the United States to protect the vessels that sustain both military operations and the global economy? At stake here isn't just one ship, but the resilience of maritime logistics in an increasingly unstable world.
How critical the maritime domain is, not just for our ability to sustain military operations, but for the global economy. I want to drill into this a little bit with you. So first, on March 2nd, while docked at the port in Bahrain, the U.S.-flagged tanker Stena Imperative was struck by projectiles that caused a fire on board. Are you familiar with this, General?
I'm aware, Senator.
Yeah. Thankfully, the crew is safe. One shipyard worker was killed. That vessel's part of MARAD's tanker security program. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how many tankers are enrolled in that program?
Sir, the program is fully subscribed at this point, and it's upwards of 60.
Upwards of 60.
Excuse me, if you're talking about the tanker security program.
Yes.
Yes, we currently have 10 that are funded.
Okay, 10 that are funded. This ship, Stena Imperative, was one of those. It's now damaged. So obviously not a large fleet, 10 ships. So when even just one of these vessels is damaged or unavailable, it can have an outsized impact. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So in your opening statement, you highlighted the importance of the commercial maritime industry to Transcom's strategic sea lift capability during a crisis. And I agree with that. But what we're seeing in the Middle East also demonstrates that we need to do more to support the commercial industry we rely on. So let me ask a practical question here. So since Transcom relies on commercial vessels that require insurance, what happens when no one is willing to insure ships that are operating in a conflict zone?
Senator, thanks to the emergency program of the Tanker Security Program, the value of that for U.S. Transportation Command is the fact that we have assured access to those ships. Those ships are committing to serve with us and to partner with us, and we have the ability to employ them in a maneuver scheme in conjunction with the theater commanders. Part of that also drives.
This moment reveals a structural vulnerability that often escapes public attention. The tanker security program exists precisely because commercial insurers hesitate to underwrite vessels operating in conflict zones. When lawmakers press on war risk insurance, they're really asking whether national security logistics are quietly dependent on fragile private sector incentives. With only 10 funded tankers and fewer operational, even a single incident like the attack in Bahrain can ripple through military planning. The concern isn't hypothetical. Routes such as the Straits of Hormuz are among the most volatile shipping lanes on Earth. So the question becomes, is current policy sufficient? Or are we relying on contingency plans that assume risk will always be manageable?
Us to plan with the theaters to make sure that we have force protection with them as well, but to meet the need. We fully understand.
Can you explain, General, can you explain the tender security program that you just mentioned? I mean, is this the reinsurance that the President mentioned the other day?
Sir, the tanker security program is our U.S. flagged ships.
No. I thought you said something else. So my concern is with the insurance, right? Can these ships in the tanker security program, the 10 ships, which really 9 are available right now, are they without the required insurance because they're in a conflict zone? How does that affect their ability to be used to our benefit?
There is a provision for war risk insurance. That program, by and large, is run by the Maritime Administration within the Department of Transportation. U.S. Transcom works with them in conjunction. If that is required, there is a conversation and cooperation that exists between the two of us, and we can recommend the requirement for that, at which time the carriers have the opportunity to apply for the insurance.
So do you see this as an issue today, that it's going to be challenging to get some of these ships underway through the Straits of Hormuz because of insurance issues, or do you think there's no problem?
Senator, the challenge with transiting the strait really depends on the conditions that exist and actually to make the safe transit. That will depend on the conditions at hand. That will be judged best by the theater commander, in this case, CENTCOM. But once the conditions are set, we'll sail.
So no resistance by the ship owners in the tanker security program to sail as soon as Transcom says it's okay?
We hold conversations with the ship owners several times a week. There's an information exchange that exists. There's also a forum that we have called the Executive Working Group. In that, we advise them of the situation. We point out to them what's going on. They fully understand the risk, and they also give advice to us in terms of the best way ahead.
If I could just have 30 more seconds, Mr. Chairman. So, I think a lot of this highlights, we only have 10 ships in the tanker security program. MSC has a limited number of vessels. Would you agree that our country needs a whole-of-government national maritime strategy so that our maritime transportation system is prepared for crises? When we look at a conflict going across the Pacific, in the Western Pacific, let's say, in the future, with China, are we prepared with our current maritime industry to support a long-term conflict with a near-peer adversary?
Senator, I'll tell you that if we were given the task to go today, we would all go. We would all take what we have and we would execute and support the combatant commander and their needs based on what they require. I will tell you that there is a lot of work to be done to strengthen the health of the fleet, to strengthen the health of the workforce. Part of the challenge of that is cargo. Having cargo available will actually drive the overall plan for the demand to build ships, the demand to have the ships, and work to be done by the crews.
Well, thank you, General, because I'm out of time, but that's what and that issue is addressed in my Bipartisan Ships for America Act. So I hope to move that legislation forward so you're in a better position to be able to do your job. Thank you.
General Reed, have you had a chance to look at the Ships for America Act?
Senator, I have. Chairman, I have.
You have?
What this exchange ultimately underscores is a gap between operational confidence and long-term preparedness. Military leaders affirm they can execute missions today, but repeatedly acknowledge that the system is under strain. A limited fleet, aging ships, workforce shortages, and dependence on commercial insurance all point to deeper structural challenges. As tensions persist in regions overseen by U.S. Central Command, these logistical realities matter just as much as battlefield capabilities. So what do you think? Is the U.S. maritime strategy keeping pace with modern threats, or reacting after vulnerabilities are exposed? Share your thoughts below, and if you value clear, fact-based analysis like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more informed breakdowns of the issues shaping global security.